This is CBC Winnipeg News.
It's close friends, it's neighbors, and it's terrible.
A community is grieving after 2 people die in a wildfire as the province continues to be gripped by out-of-control fires. Good evening and thank you for being with us. An emergency turned into tragedy. That is how Manitoba's Premier is describing the province's wildfire fight following the deaths of 2 people. A man and woman were found dead after being trapped in a fire near Lac du Bonnet. That is where we find the CBC's Josh Crabb tonight. So, Josh, not only is the community mourning this loss, but they are also still dealing with an out-of-control fire.
That's right, Riley. The fire is burning near this community northeast of Winnipeg. You can smell the smoke here in town. Hundreds of people have been displaced. This fire is one of 21 active fires and one of 5 in the province listed as out of control. Now, people have been registering at this evacuation center in the community hall behind me. And as you mentioned, people here are also grieving the deaths of a well-known couple. The wildfire fight is still in full gear near Lac du Bonnet. A fire raging just northeast of the community destroyed at least 28 structures as of Thursday, and the flames are still threatening other cottages and homes.
We've just been going by grace of God that we still have a house. The neighbors haven't been so fortunate.
Shane McCoy and his wife Lydia are among 1,000 people who have been forced from homes and cottages in the rural municipality of Lac du Bonnet. He lives just off Wendigo Road, near where the RCMP says a couple trapped by the fast-moving fire died.
The news of this loss of life changes what was an emergency into a tragedy.
The couple was identified by the Progressive Conservatives Thursday in the Manitoba legislature as Sue and Rich Noel.
They were someone's family, someone's friend, their loved ones we hold in our hearts during this unimaginable time. This is a devastating reminder how quickly these fires can escalate and how dangerous they truly are.
News of their deaths in Lac du Bonnet sent shockwaves through a community still dealing with the fire.
It's a terrible situation, and it's a horrible, horrible tragedy that this occurred. Our community is going to be shaken over that. We are resilient and we will recover from it, but these are friends and family members and residents of our community.
The Lac du Bonnet fire is estimated to be 4,000 hectares. Crews are making progress on it. Their focus has been on protecting people's homes and properties.
It's all those collective efforts. Otherwise, you know what, there's hundreds of homes in that Granite Hill, the pristine golf course, all of that would have been lost. So there's a lot of heroes in our community. I thank them from the bottom of my heart.
Just outside Lac du Bonnet, Jordan Gauthier was checking in on the Granite Hills golf course and campground he and his family run. He's thankful too and says the past few days have taken a toll on the area.
We feel for everybody who lost their homes and you know, those two brave people that were in there, and sadly they lost their lives. But it's pretty hard to talk about. But yeah, it hits the heart, that's for sure.
Premier Wab Kinew is slated to visit the area tonight. Kinew's office says he'll be meeting with community members here in Lac du Bonnet. Riley.
Thank you, Josh. That is the CBC's Josh Crabb in Lac du Bonnet. Premier Wab Kinew says flags have been lowered to half-mast in honor of Sue and Rich Noel. As Josh mentioned, that fire near Lac du Bonnet is just one of 21 burning in the province. That is down from 24 on Wednesday. The Premier urged people heading into the May-long weekend to listen to evacuation orders and stay out of fire zones. He is also asking Manitobans, no matter where you are, to not have bonfires or set off fireworks this long weekend.
Any fire that goes out of control, even in an area that's not dealing with wildfire, could potentially pull resources away from the front lines where we urgently need help.
Manitoba Hydro says work is underway to restore power to areas affected by wildfires in eastern Manitoba. The utility was able to re-energize about 900 customers along the Lee River late yesterday. 500 remain without power this morning. Hydro says some infrastructure suffered significant fire damage, including burnt and fallen poles, power lines, transformers, and other equipment. Construction crews have also started work around Lac du Bonnet. Meanwhile, people in the community are pitching in to help in any way that they can. Hanish Patel runs Campbell's Foods in the town centre, the largest grocery store in the area. He says he has been helping firefighters and evacuees.
Like providing them waters and the people who are being evacuated out of their houses. We are making sure that they have a food there at the evacuation center, so we have been donating all those things.
Patel says community members have also been buying groceries to donate to the evacuees. A separate fire has also prompted a state of emergency for Whiteshell Provincial Park. People were ordered to leave the park by this afternoon. The CBC's Felicia Adam was in the area as people were leaving.
Roads into Whiteshell Provincial Park closed. People living there, business owners and visitors told to leave, with concerns growing about wildfires.
They have to be kind of proactive and make sure that everybody's safe, right? Property can be replaced, lives can't.
The province declared a local state of emergency in the area, making it easier for crews working to put out the fire and keep people safe.
We've been up since 5 o'clock this morning and moving gear and whatever.
Mike Addy is a business owner in Whiteshell. He's been scrambling to get his guests out of the area along with boats and trailers. He was told he needed to leave the area Wednesday night.
In a perfect world, yeah, you'd have notice, but in this kind of a situation when it's emergency stuff, you don't always get notification like you need, right?
The wildfire started in northwestern Ontario earlier this week. The province says the out-of-control fire has grown to 23,000 hectares on that side of the border and has spread into Manitoba. Premier Wab Kinew was asking people to listen to the evacuation orders.
We lost lives in Manitoba yesterday. This is a serious situation, and I think everyone will understand that we are going to definitely take the cautious and safety-minded approach in this situation.
This community center is one of 3 locations set up so that people who live in Whiteshell year-round can come and register with Manitoba Parks before they leave the area.
We've been there for 45 years. It's our home.
Judy and Stuart Cornell made sure to register. They own Inverness Falls Resort. The May-long weekend is one of the busiest times of the year for them, but safety is top of mind.
They're taking precautions, and that's what we need. We don't want anybody in here and something happening.
For now, they are following orders to leave the area, but eager to return home. Whiteshell Provincial Park will remain closed until extreme fire conditions improve. Felicia Adams, CBC News, near Whiteshell Provincial Park.
Meantime, elsewhere in southeastern Manitoba, the state of emergency continues in the arm of Piney. A wildfire there is nearly 8,000 hectares. The area received some rain last night, which helped, but it was not enough to lift evacuation orders. Those have been in place for the towns of Carrick, St. Labour, Badger, Woodridge, and near Floors. The fire remains out of control and a number of roads in the area are closed. Helicopters are being used to battle the flames along with heavy machinery focusing on creating fire guards to contain that fire. Meantime, in northern Manitoba, the province says the fire that was burning near the Pas and Opaskwayak Cree Nation is now under control. The province is looking into whether 40 firefighters from British Columbia that were working here can be redeployed to the eastern part of the province. So we did see a little bit of rain in the province last night, a little bit throughout the day today. We've seen some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings issued throughout the day as well. There is a little bit more rain on the way. Let's get a first check on our weather with weather specialist Darius Madavi.
Thanks, Riley. And I want to start by talking a little bit more about those fires. This is a photo from a couple days ago taken from a satellite, and you can see all that smoke just pouring out of those fires, and also gives you an idea of not just of how intensely those fires are burning, but also the wind gusts that have been really pulling that smoke away and fanning those flames for the last couple days. And if we do take a look here on those wind gusts, we can see that we do have another, especially as we get into tomorrow, some more very strong wind gusts in southern Manitoba, especially down here in the southeast. But as we get into Saturday, we'll start to see a little bit of a reduction in those winds as they move off towards the east. So still another day or two of those strong winds, but there is going to be some improvement on the horizon as things start to calm down a little bit as we get into the days ahead. So not immediately good news, but something on the way. What is a little bit more immediate is those temperatures, because this is another thing, that big heat wave that we've been experiencing in southern Manitoba, especially in the southeast, that's been really, increasing that fire danger. That is going to be coming down over the next couple of days and actually dropping very quickly as this front moves across the province. And you can see those temperatures even just by tomorrow dropping as much as 10, 15 degrees in many areas. And that will remain low for at least another day or two before they slowly start to recover, but not to that extreme heat that we've been seeing.
All right, thanks, Darius. Still ahead for us tonight, a Manitoba woman is speaking out after being targeted by artificial intelligence that mimicked a loved one's voice. We'll have that story and much more local news when we come back. Well, she first thought the man on the other end of the phone was her son. But a Manitoba woman says she soon realized the voice, although convincing, was an attempt to defraud her using AI. And as the CBC's Mike Arsenault reports, she is warning others to be extra cautious, even if the voice on the other end sounds familiar.
Hello?
Leanne Friesen is on high alert now when she gets a phone call from a private number. The mother of 3 got a suspicious phone call recently from someone who sounded exactly like her son.
And he said, "Hi, Mom." And I said, "Hi." He said, "Mom, can I tell you anything?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Without judgment?" I said, "Yes." And I'm getting a little bit confused at that point, like, why are you asking me this?
Friesen says the call gave her an uneasy feeling. She hung up and called her son on his cell phone.
And he said, "Mom, I didn't call you." So, but it was definitely my son's voice that was on the other end of the line.
Friesen was the target of an AI phone scam where a loved one's voice is imitated to get personal information. And she's not the only one. The MLA for Burroughs, Diljit Brar's voice was used recently in an attempt to scam one of his constituents.
He has talked to me many times, right? In the community, I meet those seniors often. And he said, exact same voice.
The voice on the phone asked for $5,000, but the constituent caught on before transferring any money.
So it's a switch on the old grandparent scam or the parent scam.
Keith Elliott is a certified fraud examiner and private investigator. He says using AI to impersonate someone is the latest in phone scams.
To use voices that are familiar to the parties. It's a little more elaborate. It's what we would refer to as spear phishing because it's very targeted at a specific person.
Elliott says there are ways to verify if the person you're talking to is real or not. He suggests calling the person back or baiting them.
Say, "Oh, have you talked to your sister lately?" And the individual will be like, "No, I haven't had a chance to talk to her. I don't even have a sister." So you know it's a fraud, fake.
Friesen has a warning for anyone who finds themselves in a similar situation.
You always be cautious of who's on the other end of the phone.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre estimates only 5 to 10% of fraud is actually reported. Elliott is reminding people to be aware, and if something seems off, trust your instincts. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A McGregor farmer says he'll be waiting months for his stolen truck to get repaired and back on the road. He's had to call shops across southern Manitoba trying to find someone who could help. The CBC's Chelsea Kemp has the story.
When cattle farmer Clint Sigurdsson's truck was stolen in April, he hoped it would be back to work within days of being recovered. Instead, he may be waiting until the fall to use it on the farm. His first hurdle was finding a shop that could help with his MPI claim.
I'd phoned everybody from Winnipeg to Virden, Manitoba, and they all gave me the same story that they don't do theft claims.
Sigurdsson's truck was stolen during a series of thefts in McGregor last month. It was found 5 days later with a broken radiator, back window, and tailgate. Mechanic Johnny Vernos says red tape, safety concerns, and poor compensation make working on stolen vehicles unappealing. He says shops are already busy with other repairs.
It's not a moneymaker, and it's not an easy job to take on. I don't blame people for not taking it.
MPI says it's aware repair shops across the province are really busy. It says getting a vehicle fixed comes down to customers finding someone to do the repairs.
Other than helping the shops with providing coverage for temporary repairs that are safe, things like that, there's not much we can do to help relieve the capacity.
Sigurdsson's truck was one of 222 vehicles stolen in April. He doesn't want other people to have the same experience he did.
Well, I would just like things to speed up. We're kind of lucky here because we do have other vehicles. There is people that have only the sole one vehicle.
For now, Sigurdsson's truck is sitting in Winkler waiting to be repaired, instead of pulling his cattle trailer. MPI says it's allowing temporary repairs for vehicles to help get them back on the road until full repairs can be done. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, McGregor.
A 31-year-old man has been arrested after a woman says she was sexually assaulted while being hit with a hatchet at a Thompson encampment. RCMP say they responded to an intimate partner violence report in the northern Manitoba city on Sunday. Police say officers went to the Wellbriety Centre, an overnight shelter, where they found a woman with visible injuries. RCMP say the man remains in custody while police continue to investigate. A boater who went missing on Lake Manitoba almost a week ago has been found dead. The 41-year-old man left Sandy Bay First Nation on May the 8th. RCMP say a 22-year-old man was with him when their boat broke down. A rescue attempt was delayed by high winds. Neither man was wearing a life jacket at the time. The body of a 22-year-old washed up on shore last week. RCMP now say the body of the 41-year-old man was recovered from the lake on Wednesday. All right, well, as you saw earlier, we're looking at another windy day across southern Manitoba tomorrow. Not good for news on the firefight, but we do have some rain in the forecast. Let's get back to weather specialist Darius Madavi.
Well, Riley, we talked earlier in the show about some of those improving conditions across parts of the province that could be a little bit of good news for fire danger. Those temperatures coming down tomorrow, those wind gusts slowly starting to ease off a little bit in the days ahead. The other big thing that we're watching is that precipitation. Now, this is a bit of good news, bad news situation because we are going to see some of that precipitation come down where a lot of those fires are down in the southeast, which could improve that situation quite a bit. It is also coming with lightning, so the possibility for new fire starts, but fortunately not much dry lightning, so potentially a little bit of good news there. The other thing we're watching, though, that rainfall warning down in the southwestern corner of the province, because even though that precipitation is good news for fires, bringing down that fire danger, it is also raising the risk of some flooding, localized flooding in some of these areas, especially in that corner of the province and then across the border in Saskatchewan as well. So watching out for that lightning as we take a look here in the south. Again, you can see that moving up through the day today. If we look at our precipitation forecast over the next couple days, you can see again that rain moving through those areas. And as we see those temperatures drop, especially overnight, tonight or tomorrow night, we're going to see that transition into a bit of a mix and then also some snow for more northern areas. But precipitation not too long lasting, but heavy while it's here. And again, the potential for a bit of improvement in terms of that fire situation. And the end of the weekend is looking a little bit warmer and a little bit sunnier, which I'm sure many people will enjoy for Victoria Day with that fire danger having come down. A little bit of sunshine and slightly warmer weather might be much enjoyed by people. In terms of the totals that we're going to see, again, nothing crazy, but while that rain is here, it will be coming down quite hard in many areas, especially down in that southwestern corner of the province. Some of the totals here you can see up to 50 millimeters in some areas. And as that rain comes down, again, expect those wind gusts to be blowing quite hard at times. At times in southeastern Manitoba, we could see wind gusts up to 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. Consistently only 40 to 50, but those gusts will be quite high as well. So again, bit of a mixed bag in terms of the weather situation over the next couple days as we see these storms blow through. Now, let's take a look here at our visibility over the next couple days. We do have quite a bit of smoke blowing through. You can see the impact of those wind gusts blowing down towards the south in terms of that wind. In terms of visibility, we also have, let's get this here because that graphic's being a little bit funky. And we'll talk more. These are the next 3 days in Winnipeg. We'll talk more about the 7-day later in the show.
All right, thank you so much, Darius. When we come back, we will return to our coverage of the wildfires in eastern Manitoba. We will hear from a family who lives near Lac du Bonnet who had little time to pack up what they could and leave. We'll bring you that conversation when we come back. Stay with us. Let's return to our top story, the wildfires that are burning in eastern Manitoba, and more specifically that fire that has ravaged homes and cottages near Lac du Bonnet. Michelle Potter had just moments to pack up what she could from her family's home. She is now staying in Beausejour while her daughter Emily Potter is in Winnipeg. They spoke earlier with the CBC's Andrew Nichols.
Well, I mean, it was very immediate, was to grab as many possessions as I could from my home, mainly my children's photo album, things like that, and just to make sure the other people in our park had gotten out safe and knew that I had to evacuate now. There was very little time that it was hitting us.
And Emily, I bet that was tough for you to be far away while your mom was on the move, right?
Yeah, she called me, asked me if I wanted anything saved from my place because she was packing her bags. And then, an hour later, she was already on the road and had evacuated. So it was super emotional and we had no idea what was going to happen. It was a really helpless feeling.
I'm sure it was. And Michelle, can you describe what you saw and felt as you left your community and witnessed the damage all around? And I think we're going to be able to show our viewers some of the video that you took. I mean, the smoke, it's unbelievable. Describe what we're seeing.
It's almost indescribable. We never thought we would be put in this position, and it was. We're leaving, and this is my home, and I don't know if I come back, it will be standing. And all the memories, I've been in this area since 1989, and it was fearful. It was extremely scary.
And Michelle, I understand as you were leaving, we're looking at a video here where the car is parked, and we can see the smoke and the flames all around you. I mean, it looks like it's just, I don't know, several meters in front of you. It doesn't look very far away.
No, it wasn't very far away. We normally wouldn't stop, but we have a very close friend, Marge, up the road, and we did not hear that she was out yet, and we had to stop to wait for her. Mm-hmm. She was on the move from Grosdon Point, but at that point we had to decide whether we were going back into the smoke and the fire to get her. But then we saw her car, so we could all leave together.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, now we're looking at some of you where you're driving in a car, and I think I can see a lake to the left, and it looks as though there are homes that are just gone. Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, a lot of cottages have been, there's not even any rubble left. Like, they're just totally gone. That is just hundreds of feet away from where we are. We're just kind of like this little pocket, and we're okay, and then up the road everything is gone.
Wow. And we can see a few burnt out cars, a burnt out pickup truck here. I mean, it's just, what did you think as you were driving through this?
This was behind us, but we did know the people that were coming from Grosdon Point, and we know the people that had to abandon their cars, and fortunately, they had somebody there to pick them up, to take them to safety. So it's just around the corner from us. We did not know what was going on pretty much all around.
What would you like to say, maybe Emily, what do you want to say to other Canadians who are watching and might be facing a similar situation right now? It just kind of feels as though, unfortunately, in this country, this happens time and time and time again. It seems to hit different places of the country, but it's just devastating.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to have, a more extensive evacuation plan. I know that I didn't have any plans, and I think you need to be tapped in with your local RM and your local town and know what's going on at all times. Nobody plans for something like this to happen, but you need to be able to get out as quickly as you can before you're even told to evacuate, and to listen to the evacuation orders. They're for your best safety in mind. And just to, thank everybody that's been working so hard, firefighters, everybody in the emergency response teams that's been working so hard to try to save everything they can.
Michelle?
Yes, I wasn't that prepared. So I felt the stress of that as well. That will play out. But going forward, I'm sure that more prepared, and all of my friends that I know are more prepared, and will be good for me to give back to the community and work with the emergency measures organization, because I think that's what I need to do, because they were 1,000,000% so good to us.
It's Michelle and Emily Potter speaking with Andrew Nichols, and we can give you a bit of an update. They believe that their home is still standing. Well, let's take you to the University of Manitoba. Shift gears now. The newest doctors, dentists, and pharmacists receiving their degrees today. Zabina Abend reports.
Walking across the hall, wearing their black robes and hats. Family and friends clapping and cheering. This was a moment of joy for the 188 medical, dental, and pharmacy graduates of the UFM's class of 2025. Among them is 42-year-old Angela Zawadztra. A mother of 4 kids, Zawadztra grew up in foster care in rural Saskatchewan.
No one really expected me to even go on to university, but I eventually did go to university after raising my kids late in life in my late 30s, and now I am a doctor.
Zawadztra lived in Steinbach during medical school, driving back and forth every day. She's looking forward to doing her rural family medicine residency in Steinbach and practicing there.
I feel fantastic. It has been a very long journey getting to this point, and I am so excited to be here to celebrate with my students, my classmates, and my family.
27-year-old Abigail Meadows is Métis and wants to do her residency in addictions psychiatry in rural Manitoba. She's passionate about advocating for Indigenous health.
Going to medical school, learning the skills to be able to do that and to be able to address the health disparities that many people in our province face was really important to me, and so that's what led me to pursue medicine.
If they stay in Manitoba, these medical professionals should find plenty of opportunities. Doctors Manitoba last year said the province would need 346 more doctors to match the per capita average in the rest of Canada. Zabina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A new survey shows Canada is falling behind when it comes to the well-being of children, ranking far below comparable countries. Alison Northcott on the troubling numbers and possible solutions.
17-year-old Emma Ann McDougall says today's teens have had to navigate a lot of distress, like pandemic shutdowns and the hazards of social media.
I would see a bunch of content online, like beauty standards mainly, and it really affected my mental health.
Struggles like that are reflected in a new UNICEF report looking at indicators of child well-being in several wealthy countries. It found Canada's performance falls behind most of its peer countries in most aspects of children's lives.
1 in 4 of our children and young people are not learning the social skills that they need, or that 1 in 5 is saying that they are frequently bullied at school. These are rates that are alarming.
The report ranks Canada 13th out of 36 countries for overall life satisfaction. For adolescent suicide, it's all the way down at 33rd place out of 42 countries.
Over the last 4 years, we have seen the number of young people under the age of 13 who are contacting us about suicide double. But we're also seeing increases in young people talking about body image and eating challenges and grief and abuse.
The report recommends expanding school lunch programs, doubling the child disability benefit, and implementing the Spirit Bear Plan, which aims to end inequalities in public services for First Nations children, youth, and families.
Generations of racism, discrimination, and colonization has greatly impacted their current situation, and that those policies are having a very real impact on them today.
For McDougall, initiatives like this youth leadership event have helped.
It's important to see youth as important as everyone else because it's the truth.
She says policymakers must listen to young people about what they say could help improve their lives. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Well, to London, Ontario now, where a teammate of the accused testified again at the sexual assault trial of 5 former World Junior hockey players. Michael McLeod, Carter Hart, Alex Formenton, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote have all pleaded not guilty. The complainant in this case is only referred to as EM. Ali Chiasson has the latest.
Feeds it back at the point. Timmins in, looking for a stick to score! Steve Berman gives Canada the lead!
From shooting the gold medal winning goal in the 2018 World Junior Championship to testifying as the Crown's witness in the trial of 5 of his former teammates accused of sexual assault, all of whom have pleaded not guilty. In his testimony, Tyler Steenbergen was asked to read through text messages from a team group chat. The conversation involved the players who were allegedly inside Michael McLeod's hotel room with EM on June 19, 2018. Hockey Canada had notified the players that they were looking into the incident. In an excerpt of the conversation between the players, Dylan Dubé, the captain of the hockey team, says, quote, "There are no criminal charges. It's Hockey Canada Code of Conduct, and they are investigating on what happened that night, so it won't happen again." Player Jake Bean, who was not charged, asks, "Could we get in trouble for it or no?" And Dubé responds, "Don't think so." His co-accused Michael McLeod says, quote, "We all need to say the same thing if we get interviewed. Can't have different stories or make anything up." We spoke to a defense attorney not affiliated with this case, George Gray. He says that evidence like this is both common and uncommon.
So in terms of text messages, instant messages, that kind of thing, almost every sex assault trial now includes that kind of evidence. But if we're talking specifically about sort of a chat between people after the fact about what happened and an ongoing or a new investigation, that's not quite so common. There's a discussion about things that happened, and so that's going to be useful to the Crown to prove or to sort of corroborate what the complainant has testified about already.
Steenbergen testified that he remembers EM asking the players to have sex with her. EM denies that. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, London, Ontario.
Coming up, forest fire or wildfire? There's been some confusion about what those words mean. We'll break down the difference between the two just ahead. Stay with us. Well, we are seeing wildfires grow in many parts of the country, all too familiar here at home as well. But so is confusion over the word itself. Many are still not sure about the difference between a forest fire and a wildfire. Well, officials in BC are trying to clear the air. Johanna Wagstaff breaks it down.
Okay, so there's a fire somewhere in a forest. Is it a forest fire or a wildfire? Is it too dramatic to call it a wildfire? What if humans started the fire? Is it a human-made fire in that case? Who gets to decide what we call a fire? As someone who has covered many wildfires, there's a simple answer here. Wildfire is actually the most accurate word. A wildfire is any unplanned fire in a natural space. It could be a forest, grassland, or muskeg. It could be started by people, and it could be totally out of control or already contained. Here, the word wild doesn't mean out of control. It means out in the wild. Same way we say wildflower or wildlife. Even if some online commenters disagree about when and how to use the word wildfire, the science world is in agreement here. And as wildfire season ramps up across the country, getting the language right actually matters. The BC Wildfire Service recently posted on Facebook calling out confusion and straight up misinformation about the word. The response was massive.
Yeah, we had a lot of positive response of people who were saying things like, "Thank you, I'd actually always wondered exactly what this meant," and people who were also grateful or expressing gratitude that they could then use that information to counter misinformation that they were finding in their own lives.
So this kind of pushback isn't totally new. Wildfire officials say it's been growing louder over the last few years.
Anecdotally, we have seen in recent years more misinformation. Typically, we tend to see this kind of engagement when there's other contentious topics that are happening. People are stressed, people are anxious. For example, a lot of the engagement that we've received recently speaks to the federal election. Often we'll see upticks around the American federal election, the provincial elections, the COVID-19 pandemic, any of those kind of big society-wide discussions or things that make people feel anxious or uncertain. And that's one of the big reasons why we've wanted to focus so much on public education.
Bottom line, the fires are just getting started, and so is the effort to clear up the confusion.
Well, let's stay on the topic of wildfires and forest fires. Of course, we're all thinking about the fire risk as we head toward the long weekend. Let's get a check on that with weather specialist Darius Madavi.
Thanks, Riley. I want to start by talking a little bit more about the fire situation that we're seeing in the province right now. We'll get to the next couple days and what we're seeing tonight and tomorrow, sort of the hour-by-hour forecast. But I just want to focus a little bit, not just on what's happening now, but sort of what brought us to this point where we have these really extreme fires. Because you can see a little pocket of that high, even extreme fire danger in the corner of the province. As we head into tomorrow, we see those temperatures drop. We see a little bit more rain. That goes away as well. But really what brought us here is the prolonged drought conditions, that extreme or abnormally dry conditions that we've seen in that corner of the province here. And we see even some pockets of moderate drought as well. Now, even in the last couple of weeks, we've seen very little precipitation in a lot of these areas until, as we're getting into the next couple of days, today and tomorrow, really, we're seeing some more precipitation move in. But for the first really 2 weeks of this month, we saw much less precipitation than we usually would, less than 50% of the rain we normally would, and some of these areas not really getting much at all. So that is really what has sort of brought us to the fire situation that we're seeing right now, in addition to that extreme heat and those high winds that we have seen over the last few days. Now, with that being said, let's turn to our Skycast for tonight in Winnipeg. You can see temperatures about 14 degrees tonight, cloudy, stormy as those storms roll through potentially. Tomorrow, things are going to get quite gusty, especially late in the morning. Gusts reaching about 60 to 80 kilometers per hour in some areas, sort of on the outskirts of Winnipeg. And as we get into the afternoon, very similar. We're going to see temperatures drop pretty quickly as we see that front roll through once again. 11 degrees maybe reaching by the late morning, but by the afternoon dropping down to about 4 degrees. Normally, when at the time we'd normally be seeing our highs for the day. Tonight in the southern part of the province, we're going to see, again, those storms continuing to roll through. Lots of precipitation in many areas, coming in heavy downbursts and then moving off, as well as that possibility for lightning. Up in the more northern parts of the province, it's a pretty similar situation, although a little bit less in terms of that precipitation and more of it coming down as snow as we see those temperatures come down. As we head into tomorrow in the north, temperatures close to a little bit below seasonal, and down in the south, we're going to see those temperatures significantly below normal, especially once we get into the afternoon when we'd normally be seeing those highs. See you later in the show.
All right, thanks, Darius. Premier Wab Kinew is in Brandon today, speaking to the future of the province and how to build Manitoba into an economic powerhouse. He says part of that plan is getting Assiniboine College's Prairie Innovation Centre for Sustainable Agriculture built. The province is giving that project $60 million in capital funding and a $60 million loan. The Canadian government estimates the agriculture sector will see a 15% labour shortage by 2030. Assiniboine College says the centre will help lessen that gap. When it's done, it will have space for about 800 students.
That's huge for the industry of Manitoba and really the prairies, which this will really support industry all across Manitoba, out into Saskatchewan and beyond.
The Prairie Innovation Centre will cost around $150 million and has raised $23 million in private industry donations already. CBC News has learned that Canada is ramping up its military presence in the Arctic and roughly doubling the length of training missions. And as Murray Brewster tells us, it may be an opportunity for the country to promote its sovereignty.
Showing the flag in Canada's far north, where even the simplest tasks require teamwork. And the rest of the world seems very, very far away. CBC News has learned the Canadian military intends to spend more time on land, in the air, and at sea in a significant expansion of military exercises throughout the Arctic.
We want to be in the Arctic on a near-permanent basis.
More troops, more often, up to 10 months a year of training, as opposed to the current 5 to 6 months, and not just Canadians.
We've got a number of allies that have voiced their interest to operate with us in the Arctic.
With U.S. President Donald Trump's talk of annexing Canada and threats to take Greenland by military force, this defense expert sees an opportunity for the Liberal government.
Well, one could think imaginatively about how our allies could support Canadian sovereignty.
NATO allies have been invited into the Canadian Arctic before, but only in small numbers. Having more NATO troops, particularly Europeans, present would send a clear, unmistakable message.
If there's political will, there's a lot we can do in the short term that doesn't involve spending billions and billions of dollars on new equipment.
Ottawa has been notoriously reluctant to invite NATO into the north in large numbers, the way Norway does every year. Canada has been feeling isolated, though, and could use friends now more than ever, says this NATO expert.
The one thing that the Canadians have to do is spend more on defence, and very, very quickly, through hosting exercises and other such activities.
There is also a school of thought that says U.S. forces should continue to be invited into the Arctic. By accepting the invitation, experts say Washington is tacitly acknowledging Canadian sovereignty, despite what Donald Trump says. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
All right, a big game tonight. The Winnipeg Jets are facing elimination against the Dallas Stars in Game 5 of this Round 2 series. It is a long road to get the series back on the road. The CBC's Gavin Axelrod sets the stage.
It's make or break for the Winnipeg Jets here tonight at Canada Life Centre, where they take on the Dallas Stars in Game 5. A win extends the season. A loss sends them home packing from the playoffs without a Stanley Cup. Back to basics in the morning and looking to get back in the win column by the end of the night. Down 3-1 to Dallas, it's a long climb back into this series and to get to the next round.
Just got to do whatever we can to get a win tonight and try to stay alive, really. That's just our focus point. I mean, it doesn't matter how we got here. We just focus all our attention tonight. All that matters is right here, right now.
It's exciting. These are the games that are exciting, you play for, and we're just everyone's got to bring good effort tonight.
Every game is now a must-win for the Jets in order to avoid elimination. Working in Winnipeg's favor Thursday will be home ice. They've only lost once at home so far in the postseason.
It's a second wave. It's a push. It's that noise that just keeps you fired up. It keeps you in the moment, and it's no different. It was loud in Dallas those games, so we know what it's going to be here. We just gotta get them in behind us.
The last time the Jets played at home back in Game 2, they beat Dallas 4-0. Goalie Connor Hellebuck made 21 saves for the shutout, an important win because it tied the series at 1-1. Stars head coach Pete DeBoer says his team has learned from that game and will apply those lessons Thursday.
They played their best game of the series maybe, and we didn't match that. So on us tonight, that's our lesson in this.
Meanwhile, Jets head coach Scott Arniel also says his team has to take things one game at a time.
Now it's time to move forward, be the best version of ourselves tonight. That's all we ask. We'll worry about what happens after tonight. Make sure we get the job done.
If the Jets can win tonight, Game 6 will head back to Dallas, where the Winnipeg Jets will look to win their first game on the road in the playoffs this year. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Coming up, we'll bring you the latest on our top story, the ongoing wildfire fight in our province. Plus, Darius is back with our 7-day forecast. Stay with us.
This is a bit of a classic Winnipeg forecast, just in terms of how unpredictable it is. Not unusual for the area, but we are going to see some pretty massive temperature swings over the next couple of days. So tomorrow, temperatures reaching up to 14 degrees, but that'll be maybe late morning, maybe around noon, before those temperatures start to drop again pretty significantly. Seeing some of that rain there, some very high wind gusts in many areas, especially around the outskirts down in the southeast corners of the city. And then as we get into the rest of the weekend, a little bit of cloud on Saturday. Some more sunshine comes on Sunday as those temperatures start to come back up. And then we don't really see much more rain in the forecast.
All right, we'll take the rain. Thanks, Darius. Before we go tonight, we wanted to give you a recap of our ongoing coverage of the wildfires in Manitoba. There are 21 active fires burning in the province. 5 of those are out of control. The one at OCN was brought under control today. Whiteshell Provincial Park is now closed to the public. The province says it will remain closed until at least next Thursday. That is because of the Ingall fire along the Ontario border. It has now spread into Manitoba, burning an estimated 23,000 hectares so far. Southwest of there, the town sites of Carrick, St. Labour, Badger and Woodridge remain evacuated due to the fire burning in the arm of Piney. At last check, it was about 1.3 kilometres away from Badger. Near Lac du Bonnet, officials say at least 28 dwellings have been destroyed by that wildfire. Up to 1,000 people remain out of their homes there. And nearby, the Bird River fire in Nopaming Provincial Park has shrunk slightly to around 93,000 hectares. It was up over 100,000 yesterday. A number of parks and campgrounds there remain closed. There are also burn bans in place and restrictions, so you'll want to check with local municipalities and the province's website to find out more, especially before you do any burning. Probably a good idea to hold off on some of that. Manitobans who need help connecting with wildlife resources can also call 211. And that is our program for this Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us. You can keep up to date with the very latest on the evacuations and the wildfires on our website at cbc.ca/Manitoba or on the CBC News app. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Friday.